1, 2.
Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, the YouTube show / podcast where we talk about web development and everything around it. The whiskey is optional, the fun is not. Get ready for your hosts, Mark Backus and Scott Spence.
Woo!
Hey everyone.
Hello. Hi everyone. So this is Whiskey Wednesday, a fortnightly talk show where we talk about all tech-related topics, web development. The whiskey is optional, the fun is not. So as you can tell, we're switching things up today. I'm doing the intro and Mark is going to introduce our guests. So this week we are talking about mentoring. So with that, I'll hand over to Mark to introduce our guests.
Thank you, Scott. This one is like the last episode for the time being. So this is the season finale, but we will be back. And a little word or a little introduction to our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Cloudinary. It's a service where on the fly you can optimize images and host images and all that stuff. And we are having also first, we have a live giveaway in this episode, sponsored by Cloudinary, where we can give away 2 6-month subscriptions to FrontendMasters. And later in the show, we make the giveaway. But first, let's get to our guests. Here they are. Hello, everyone. First is Danny Thompson. We saw him in the very first episode of Whiskey Wednesday. He is a motivational Powerball meetup founder and organizer, and he's based in Memphis, United States. Hey,
Thank
Danny.
you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I was excited to be on the first episode. I'm happy to be on the season finale. No, this is not CGI. I just look this good naturally. And I'm just happy to be here with everybody.
Great. Then we have Debbie O'Brien. She's also a hero of mine, and I'm so happy she came to the show.
Yes.
She's the head of learning and developer advocate at Nuxt. She's a Vue School IO teacher, a writer, speaker. She's Irish, but based in Spain, in Mallorca. Hey, Debbie.
Hey, so yeah, it's so good to be here because I just managed to finally get into the last one. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, we're going to have lots of fun and lots of whiskey.
Okay, and we have James Tucker. He's a software engineer at Sona Studios. He loves developing in Vue.js and Rails. And he's based also in the US in Minneapolis. Hey, James.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Mark and Scott. I'm glad to be here.
Right. So let's do a drink check. This is the big reveal. We'll just wait.
Let's go first. I go first. I have, especially for this occasion, I have the new Macallan Edition 6, which came arrived this week. So I'm happy to have it here. So cheers to everyone. What's your drink, guys?
I'm letting the side down tonight. I've just got a Hawk's Head Amazon beer today, so sorry.
No shame.
The shame.
Their shame.
But it's a good kind of shame.
Just for today, I wasn't planning on even doing this, but just because this is the season finale, I've brought out my special edition Eagle Rare that I've been saving for a long time. Wow. And I've got Old Forester Statesman. Both of these, for the most part, are really hard to get, especially in my area. But I said, I'm going to go ahead, and since this is a special night, I'm going to go ahead and drink with you guys and make sure that we celebrate this right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Debbie.
Debbie, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I am Irish, therefore I'm going to drink my favorite drink, which is a whiskey liqueur.
Nice. Nice.
Brilliant.
Very nice.
And then here in America, it's 11 a.m. So it's early, but my wife gave me permission for this episode. Nice. So I'm drinking an Ardbeg Wiegedal.
Oh,
from the Isle. It's from Islay in Scotland. Really smoky. Nice. So cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers to the last episode.
Yeah, to the last episode. So, Mark, we've got a bit of an announcement today with the giveaway, haven't we?
Yes, the giveaway, I thought we would make it during the show, like let's say in maybe 40 minutes or so. We will ask some questions to the live audience, and the first one to respond the question correctly will win the 6-month subscription, but we will get to that in a minute. Let's see who we have in the chats. Oh my God, we have Molebox1, hi, Chris Dixon, Kalinki Brendon, hi everyone, Juan Acero, Masuka, hello, Miguel Alcala, who else? Tyler Broadway, and Danny Thompson. Hello, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching live. This means a lot to us. And let's come to the first question I have at hand.
Can I just, before we do that, I know we're doing the giveaway live, but we also need to mention that this is recorded and distributed as a podcast as well. So if you're listening on a podcast, I do apologize. Thank you for listening. And if you do like it that much without the giveaway as well, please leave a review, and we'll read it out on air. So thank you for listening. And sorry to have interrupted you there, Mark.
No problem.
Let's go.
About mentoring, yes, it's a pretty broad topic because there are different perspectives of mentoring. There is one where the mentor knows that he's mentoring, and there's where the mentor doesn't know that he's mentoring someone. He or she is mentoring someone. So what is the definition of you guys? How do you perceive mentorship when someone says, oh yeah, this guy is my mentor, or this gal is my mentor? What pops to your head first? Danny?
I didn't know if I should go or somebody else should go. So for me, when I say someone is my mentor or they're giving me advice, there's someone that's almost like a sounding board. Can I throw an idea off of them? Can I get feedback on this? Is this the worst thing I've ever come up with? Is this the best thing I've come up with late? And when I'm stuck on something, can they give me some advice on how should I approach this? They're not there to be an answer or a checkbook to say like, hey, solve this problem X, Y, Z. But they can say, check out this method, check out this alternative, look at this resource. Some of my mentors have given me the best advice I've ever gotten and searching for something. They'll say, go check this out. They're not hand-holding me the entire way, but they're sending me in the right direction. I think that is the best way to mentor somebody because it comes with tutorial purgatory, right? We're so reliant on that tutorial that we can never get to the point of building things on our own. A mentor should not handhold you and answer everything for you, but they should be someone that can actually relay valuable feedback. Someone that can actually say, you're on the right track, just make a left here or make a right, and then you keep going on your own. That to me is the most beneficial way to mentor somebody.
Yeah,
great
for me
answer.
A mentor is someone who pushes you. So when I learned JavaScript, for example, I actually had a mentor as part of the mentoring program with Open Classrooms and also with Treehouse. So with Open Classrooms, for example, we had a 1-hour session a week with a video chat with that person. And literally then they went through your code. So they did check kind of, things. But also it was more about me kind of saying, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I'm not able. And they're the one that's come in and saying, yes, you can, because I've also been there and I felt that too. And I know what it's like and I made it and I know you'll make it too. So they can kind of share your experience. It was something that my husband didn't understand, right? Because he's like, I'm always pushing you. I'm your mentor. And I'm like, yeah, but it's different, right? You don't know how to code. So, you need that person who's been through it, who understands it. And when you say it's really difficult, I can't do it. And that mentor says, yes, it is difficult, but you can do it. Everyone can do it. So for me, a mentor is someone who pushes you and encourages you to keep going and never give up.
So Danny is a good mentor because he's motivating half of Twitterverse.
I'm very big on motivation, and I feel like, if you help someone get to where they're going, people don't travel alone. So if they get to where they're going, they're going to bring people along with them. So I love motivating people. And here's the other thing. Some people love this philosophy of, well, if they don't make it on their own, then they're just not cut out for this. People get demotivated on everything every day. Haven't you ever been on a binge where you watch TV for like a week straight and you're like, man, I'm so bored of TV. Same concept here. You're going to get bored of whatever you're doing consistently over and over and over again, especially if you're running into a brick wall nonstop. So, of course, that's just who I am by nature. It's not something that I put on, but I am big about motivation because for a long time, I left my ceiling so low in my life that I thought the extent of my life would be frying chicken in a gas station that I did for 10 years because I didn't know I was allowed to leave that area. So there may be somebody else that doesn't know that they're allowed to leave theirs.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, sometimes you just need that shock from somebody else to keep going. Didn't mean to cut you off, Mark. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, hey, James, what's your take on what's for you is a mentor?
Yeah, I think my definition has definitely changed over the years, but I think like right now I view a mentor as someone who's maybe, they don't have to be many steps ahead of me in life. They can just be a few steps ahead of me. But somebody who maybe I trust and I've given them a blank check to not necessarily criticize me, but critique, how I am or what I'm doing. Yeah. And they know that there may be an extra safe space with me where I'm not going to be angry at them for telling me that I'm doing something wrong or I could do something better. So that's probably what I would call a mentor.
Okay. So what I heard from you guys is, and girl, is that or your mentor knows that they are your mentor, but I also feel like when there's someone that you take like lessons from without them knowing, so someone posts on Twitter, for example, or a course, and you learn from them, that for me also is a mentor. They don't know they are mentoring you, but they know they are mentoring someone. Scott, what do you think about that?
I'm of the same mindset, I think. So there are like a lot of people I follow on Twitter where you can sort of see how they're progressing with things. And this is where it comes to like learning in public. A lot of people will share their experiences. So, you can understand where they've been and sort of possible things which could happen to you along the way as well. And I think what you were saying as well, Mark, when you look up to certain people as well. And I know Chris Biscardi, he just writes all the time. And if there's anything I need a bit of information on, I just check his blog. And it's usually in there because the guy just pumps out a ton of information. So, and I do think he's a pretty cool guy as well. So, but he's not my mentor. I don't check in with him and I don't say, I'm stuck on this. How do I do this sort of thing? I have that at work with my team leader, who's awesome. He's been lending me a lot of his time recently and pointing me in the right direction on certain things. So I really appreciate that as well. But that's like by profession, and that's his job to do that, I guess. So it comes with the role. So there are sort of differing sort of opinions, I would say, on that sort of thing. And I think what James was saying is about having someone who's just a couple of steps behind you can be really beneficial. And with what Mark was saying, they don't need to know that. They don't need to know that you're mentoring them. It's just you're getting information from them. But back to what Debbie was saying and Danny, Danny just grabs you and shakes you every day. You could do it, sort of thing. So that is also good mentoring as well. So I don't know. Is there two different types? There's many different types, I guess. But I get a lot of mine from people I respect and follow on the socials, I guess. So
probably the most common type. It's called a type of mentor is someone that is like a little bit more official. Your mentor, he's like you have like some sort of relationship, like pre-established ground rules and so on. And that also leads me to my next question, which has a bunch of follow-up questions. What does it take to be a mentor in many different ways? So what skills do you need to be a mentor? Can someone elaborate on something like that? What do you need?
I think Debbie should go on that.
So yeah, I worked as a mentor officially for Open Classrooms when I finished being mentored. One of the reasons I wanted to work as a mentor wasn't for the money. They were paying me, but that wasn't the reason. It was because my mentor helped me so much. I just wanted to give back. And that was the only way I could officially give back. We had to do a course first on how to be a mentor. So that was really helpful as well. And really, like, what's really important is about listening and being able to understand what the other person is going through, because everyone learns at different paces as well, right? So Danny might be a really fast learner and James might be a really slow learner, for example. So they're both going at the same time on the same one. And I might get really frustrated because James is not doing as well as Danny, and then go, James, come on, you need that done by now, right? And you can't. Everyone is different and everyone's learning. People have families.
But empathy, isn't it?
Jobs. Yeah, it's about empathy and it's about understanding and knowing and not pushing too hard, but knowing when to push. So as you don't kind of like also make the person go, actually, do you know what? I can't do it. That's too much, right? So you have to kind of know the level, but also not let them just be kind of like, no, I didn't do anything this week. No, I didn't have time. No, I didn't have time. You're like, no, come on, right? So yeah, it's about understanding the person and their needs and being able to push them without pushing them too hard.
I just spoke about this and I just was in a video about this as well. Empathy is the biggest thing that someone needs. And I relate this to code reviews and things like that. If you just keep slapping someone like, you suck at this is terrible, this doesn't look good. This is not what you should be doing in a code review. You should be saying, you did this really well. This needs work. Pat it out. If I keep slapping you over and over again, you're going to be like, you know what? I don't think this is for me. I didn't sign up for this. If I'm constantly being told I suck over and over, I'm going to believe that. Instead of highlighting like, man, this person is fantastic on the front end, they need more work, let's say on the back end, or this person really needs to work better at utilizing hooks and more viable situations. Like there are ways to say like, your code is great, we can fix it here. And here's the other thing, and this is the same thing that I just told, I'm volunteering at a boot camp to teach as a TA, and I told them, I said, I'm not here for the money because the money is an absolute joke. I'm not here to become famous because what are these 100 people going to do for me? So if I'm not here for that, why am I here? And it's because I genuinely love everyone in this program and I want to see you get somewhere. And we have a weight that we need to carry and I can only carry half. I just need you to carry the other half and we'll get to where we need to go. But I can't do that alone. I can spend the entire day teaching it for you, but I can't spend the entire day understanding it for you. So you need to put some work forward and I'll carry the rest of the way. So, and here's the other thing too. A lot of professionals, and that's why I'm so vocal on Twitter, so many professionals forget what it was like to not know anything. You come in with this situation understanding what you already know, but what do you do when I don't know that already? Like, you're like, you should know this already. How should I know this already? I'm learning React right now. I come from Angular and Java. So I'm learning React right now. And people are like, oh, you still don't know how to do this? How am I supposed to know? I just started learning React a week and a half ago. Like, can you give me a break over here? What's going on?
You don't know everything. I thought you knew everything, Danny.
I know, right? Like, why? How could I possibly not know something? But like, part of my rules to become a better developer, one of them is ABL, always be learning. I'm open to learning anything, and I will always be open to that. But don't berate me or down me for not knowing something because I just not gotten to that point yet. And keep that in mind when you talk to juniors or aspiring developers or beginners. They're learning what you already know. Come back with that same compassion that you were looking for in the beginning instead of just slapping somebody down.
Definitely.
No, for sure. And I mean, basically what I'm going to say now is just going to be a very condensed version of what you said, Danny and Debbie, because I mean, we've both touched on empathy already. And I think, I believe that empathy is the key to being a good mentor as well. And right now, like the official mentoring I do is at the boot camp I graduated from about 2 years ago. And so I'm not super far removed from where those students are at right now. And I think that, it's just important that you don't forget where you were, like when you were in their place, you know, like the struggles, the questions and you might have. And which is why I think that, you know, like if you can be a mentor, even if you're just starting out in your career. You don't have to wait till you're 2 or 3 years into the field, or you're mid-level, or you're senior. You can start, like, you don't even have to be an official developer of a job. You can just be starting out a free code camp, but there's something you can offer to the people who are maybe 3 days behind you on the free code camp course. And you'll be a good mentor because you've been there and you remember what it was like to not know anything 3 days ago.
Big up free code camp, by the way. It's the best program out there. Absolutely fantastic.
I always recommend Free Code Camp. It's where I started. I will continue to recommend Free Code Camp. And I think it's a fantastic place to start because you learn the bare bones basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You know what kills me is when people are like, well, what do you want to learn? Do you want to know mobile? Do you want to know backend? Do you want to know front end? Someone who's never coded before has no idea what backend is in the front end. So I love to throw them there because within a month, you're going to know the bare bones basics of JavaScript. And education is almost a window that you can peer through. And now you're like, you know what? I really hate making things look beautiful. And I'd rather work on problem solving. Well, guess what? You just found out you like backend. Or you know what? I really hate everything to do with the web. Now you just realize, well, great. Now you know you want to get into React Native and learn mobile. So I feel like just knowing that produces a better outcome than just having someone predict in the beginning what they want without knowing what it does.
Yes, and I think it takes a mentor to like sometimes just give you the little like jump, like, hey, this is something you might check out. And they are like, for you, it's like, of course, Free Code Camp, I suggested to them. But for many, it's like, wow, thank you so much. I didn't know about this. It helped me a lot, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I just want to...
yeah.
Go ahead, James.
I was going to say, like, what the thing that you think is just a boring suggestion for somebody, right, could be absolutely brilliant for that person.
Yeah.
It's just that you can be so, exactly. So try to keep that in mind.
Well, one thing I want to say with that is, you know, I know we're talking about mentorship here, but people need to understand one thing. For the longest time that I can remember, I never had an official mentor. I just had people that I would bug. And I would literally send out messages. I would DM them. I would tweet at them. I would send them a message on LinkedIn and just get some advice. Many mentors don't have the time of day to be like, I'm going to dedicate 4 hours a week to you. It's a lot to ask of somebody. Yeah. But if you have someone that's willing to answer a couple of questions, take that, write it down, don't bug them too much, and then come back in a couple more days with some more questions. And find many developers like, that's why I love Twitter. You know, I avoided Twitter for the longest time, and it wasn't until someone showed me that there's all these developers talking about tech topics on Twitter where I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I started following them, and I'd send tweets.
This is where it's at.
Yeah, and I would send tweets saying, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Now I'm getting all this feedback that I can now go through myself and say, all right, this is valuable, this is valuable, this is valuable. Maybe I don't need to think about this right now. I could think about this down the road. That, if you can't get a real one-on-one mentor, that is your soundboard. That is your feedback. That's your mentorship that you can utilize until you can find that. And it's free.
I think it's about taking the opportunities that you have, right? So when I was in Treehouse, for example, we had a load of Slack channels we were going through projects. So you could go into the Slack channel for project 1, project 2. So I used to go into the channels every morning. I'd read every single message. And if someone had a question, then I would answer that question. Because once I'd answered someone's question, then I felt I could now ask a question because, I can bug someone because I've also given back. I haven't just bugged everyone and not given back. And I think that's really important on Twitter, for example. Send people messages, ask people questions, but also help others out. Don't just be the one that goes, I need help, because you can also give. You also have knowledge. You've also learned something, and your knowledge is also valuable. So share it and help and give back. What goes around comes around. So the more you do, the more you're going to get as well.
Yep.
Yes. Sorry. Another thing that I wanted to talk with you guys is like sometimes people, including me, like hesitate to become mentors or start mentoring people because of the pressure of being perfect. Like if you're the mentor, you think you have to know everything. And how can people deal with that to become more confident in helping others? Because I think it's a common thing. It can't be only me.
Yeah. I had this with sorry, I'll let you
No, you go.
I had this with Open Classroom. So I was mentoring officially. I was officially mentoring. I was getting paid. So now I'm thinking, right, I have to do this properly, right? But I was given a student and they started to do the Rails course, so Ruby on Rails. And I knew Node, but I didn't know Ruby on Rails. So now I'm kind of going, I can't mentor you here, right? But I could mentor him to a certain level because he actually knew what he was doing. He didn't need coding mentoring. He needed, you're doing okay. Yeah, that looks great. I'm going to help you with the UI and kind of make that look a bit better. Have you thought about this? Have you added testing? Have you done this? So I was actually able to mentor him, even though I did not know the technology. So you don't always have to know everything to be able to mentor.
Yes, I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember a beautiful scene from VJS Global with Debbie, where she was talking about Nuxt, and someone asked a question: "Can I do this and this and this with Nuxt?" And she, who works at Nuxt, is like, "I don't know. Try it out." Like that's what I'm talking about. You don't need to know everything about everything to be someone's mentor or to help someone. Like if you just say, I don't know, try it out. It says something. It says that, yeah, well, maybe it works. Maybe we didn't think about it. Maybe you have a great idea there. Sorry, Danny.
No, to be honest, I agree with these points. And for me, I view mentorship the same way I view my job, in that I have no problem being the dumbest person in the room, because what I lack in sheer intellect, I make up for with like really good looks, but I also make up for with my ability to soak up information like a sponge. So if you come to me with a problem and I don't know it, I will instantly say, I don't know the answer to this, but give me enough time. I will research it and get back to you. That is the same thing I say at interviews. That is the same thing I say at jobs, because at the end of the day, I've yet to meet a person that knows everything about a single language. You know what was my mind-blowing moment in my first job in tech? I was a week in my job, and I go to this developer who has over 20 years experience, absolute human genius, right? I still look at this person as a genius to this day. So it's my first week. I'm stuck on this problem. I can't figure it out. And I go to him and I say, I don't know how to solve this. How can we solve this? He says, I don't know. And he just started Googling. Now, this blew my mind, because at that time, I was beating myself up to study syntax. And it shows, even with someone with over 20 years experience, they don't have all the answers. So if they don't have all the answers, I damn sure don't have all the answers. But we can struggle together and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So John posted something very similar in the comments there, Mark. He's saying, I sometimes feel that pressure doing pair programming too, the feeling that I should know more than, know more, be better than I am as the more experienced dev. But I find that when you're pairing, you're working stuff out together. And this just goes back to what Danny was saying, is that no one knows all the answers, do they? So it's it's a shared discovery, which is I think it goes back to the empathy thing as well. You can't just like expect your mentor to know everything in that regard as well, I guess.
Why I love this?
Great question.
Go ahead. I was going to say, why I love this? I did a meetup with a couple developers from Google, and they were live coding, right? Now, these are like, everyone looks at Google like, oh, it's Google, like, ooh, the forbidden treasure. And they're there, right? And they're live coding, and they get an error. And they spent 15 minutes trying to solve this error live, right? To someone like me, I love that. Like, you could see finished code showing products all day long, but actually seeing someone debug, go through those errors and face them, like that is what development really is. Like these tutorials that you see on YouTube, they are a predestined path that have already been laid out, and they've gotten rid of all the errors. Most development is literally facing that error. 95% of my job as a developer is, I have no idea how this works. I'm being sent into the deep end, and now I have to figure out how this works and fix this problem. That is what development is. So even when you're pair programming and you get stuck, just know, like, this is what a real developer does. This is exactly what people do. And people at Google still make errors. And when they're making errors, they're having to figure it out and in front of a group of several hundred people. So if that doesn't tell you that you shouldn't feel that pressure, I don't know what will, because that for me was an eye-opening moment when someone with that much experience and that much accolade can still make these basic errors. We all do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say that, as someone who's only been programming for about 2 years, I'm very rarely, the one who's more experienced in the pair programming situations. But there is this particular senior dev that I pair program a lot with. I'm not sure if it's because he thinks my code's horrible, and so he thinks he needs to hold my hand all the time. But
I'll doubt it, James.
He, maybe you should look at my GitHub, Scott, and you might change your mind. So he's I've noticed he's not afraid to make mistakes. And there was this one time where we made some changes, and we're using live share through VS Code, and so either he made a change or I made a change, and things didn't show up. The changes didn't show up, and we were like, "What's going on?" And turns out 5 minutes later, the dev server is not running, right? And this guy's been coding for like 10 years, and I'm just, to me, it didn't make me respect him less. It made me, it gave me hope that I could still be a senior dev one day, even if I still made those, silly mistakes. And two, it actually made me respect him more, that he had the humility to not play down what happened. And so I think that, if you're a senior dev and you make mistakes and you own up to them and you show that it's a common thing, you're both encouraging the person you're mentoring, and you're also helping them to respect you even more in the future, so that they might even be more willing to take your advice. So just my 2 cents.
Yes, a comment from Hungry Turtle in the comments, kind of
That's the
among
best
the same
name as well. Hungry Turtle.
I love Hungry Turtle.
Yeah.
That is the best
touching on what Danny said, my most valuable experience pairing was with the CTO and seeing him getting stuck and working it out. Seeing someone who is good at solving problems was very valuable, which is yes.
One thing I just want to say with Hungry Turtle, he's a YouTuber, has great content. Definitely throw him a follow and check him out. You won't regret it.
Okay, follow Hungry Turtle code.
And yeah, so as well, I think one of the things, people don't realize that everyone also has problems and doubts themselves. So everyone's probably looking at us going, wow, they're all amazing and they know everything. And maybe we are amazing, but we definitely don't know everything. But I think everyone's amazing. So that's also, and for example, me personally, I still need someone to mentor me. I am not there yet at where I want to be, or where I'm even close to where I want to be. And I still have doubt in myself, right? So when it comes to pair programming, I am terrified because I know I make mistakes, and I think I'm now in a position where the whole world is watching me, right? And everyone kind of Nuxt-wise, view-wise knows me. And now it's even scarier because they all think I'm super intelligent and know everything about Nuxt and Vue. And that's not true. So the only way to get over that is literally put myself out there and actually just be me, make those mistakes and let people see that. Which is why I'm starting a YouTube channel, which I've just released today. And now I'm going to do.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I've only got 1 follower because I've only just started. But the idea is that I'm just going to live stream me coding, because then that's going to give me the confidence to say, you know what, actually, it'll help me and do better, because in a talk, I would never do live streaming in a talk. Never. I will do a talk. I will do an amazing talk because I'm really good at talking, but do not make me live code on a stage in front of people. I will never do it. So this is my challenge. So sometimes you got to push yourself to make yourself better by doing the thing that scares you the most. And sometimes you might need that one mentor that says, just do it, just go and do it. And I needed that person to push me. I've been pushed, and now I'm I have to deliver. So yeah, wish me luck.
Nice. It's like me with public speaking. I created this channel for this.
Because to be honest, I'll say, Mark, with you, I've known you for a while now. Your speaking has improved tremendously from when I first met you to now. You're so much better at doing this, and I love it. I've been saying this in my mind the whole time, wow, compared to that, when we first met, forget about it. It's so much better.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Yeah. The same with Caitlin Pitt and Dimitri Divdev. Those guys started up their own YouTube channels as well, just to be talking in public more. So yeah, more power to those guys too. So yeah. So I thought it was just because you like whiskey why you started the channel, Mark. Am I?
You just need another excuse to take a drink.
Yeah.
It was one of the reasons, because like one of the reasons was because we kind of in the pandemic started this Whiskey Wednesday thing, which at the beginning wasn't even public, and then we started inviting more people in and made a show out of it. But the other part was like, I'm really bad at talking, or I feel not very confident in talking live or in front of an audience, like in front of the 24 people we have watching now. But it was a huge motivation for me to become better, because I want to be better. I want to be at a conference, which this year I was, and it was amazing, even though it was live. Like practice makes great. I think that's one thing that everyone can take away from this.
Especially if like it's not if it's not your native language. And sometimes people look at the speakers and think, wow, they all have amazing English. And I can tell you, some of the speakers have started off and their English has been terrible. And as they've progressed throughout the years, like it's been incredibly, and they've increased in that. So it's, if you're not good at something, then you just need to do a little bit more of it, and then you will be good at it.
Or you could be like me. English is my first language. I'm still pretty damn bad at it, so I'm working on it.
I murder it all the time.
Okay, so now that we talked about what is not the responsibility of a mentor, not to know everything, because nobody can know everything. So what are some of the responsibilities of a mentor? Because like there must be some things that a mentor needs to do, like being respectful, being helpful. What are other things that are not the obligations, but the responsibilities that a mentor should have? What do you guys think?
I think this is dual-sided. I think the advice goes on both sides, whether it's the mentor, the mentee, and that's respect each other's time. That to me is huge, because, for example, some mentees will come thinking you don't have a job and you're here to answer all these questions, and that's the opposite of the case. And some mentors are like, well, you need to be studying 20 hours a day, and that's also the opposite of the case. I think both should have respect for each other's time, but also on the part of the mentor, you need to, it goes back to the same thing of empathy again, you need to really empathize with what they're going through and what their abilities are. You shouldn't be telling them to jump 10 levels when they can only go one at a time. So you need to really think about setting those stepping stones, because I'm a very big believer in coding is all about the very consistent small wins. There are no big wins in coding. It's a consistent, gradual progression. And if you're not making those steps, you're never going to really succeed in this field. You can't just keep trying to jump to that massive level like, oh, I know JavaScript now. In a week, I should know React. It doesn't work like that. Take your small, consistent wins. And as a mentor, you should be thinking in that mindset, not trying to overload that individual. As a mentee, you should not be trying to bite off more than you can chew. Don't sign a check that your bank account can't cash. This is the same concept. You need to be very methodical about what you're doing. And as you guys know, I'm a very big believer in your goals should be so big that they excite you. Make sure your goal has a purpose and what you're excited about reaching. Because if that's the case, you're going to stay consistent and dedicated to that path. But if your goal is like, oh, I just need to learn React, there's no purpose to learning React. But now if you're saying, I want to build this in React and I want to do this, now you have a purpose. Now you get excited. Now you're willing to go a little bit further in your learning and push for it. And that will be your consistent path right there. And I think that goes for both people, the mentor and the mentee.
Oh, there it comes a lesson in from Simon Sinek. You guys know Simon Sinek? He wrote this book. Yeah. Maybe I have it here
about
somewhere.
The guy knowing your why.
Yes. Start with the why. Oh, I should have it here.
Start why.
I go with the why, but I normally put purpose behind that.
There it is. Start with the why. It's like the circle. It's like in the inner part is the why. Then is how was it? The why, then the what, and then the how. So the first thing you need to figure out is like, why are you doing this? Like, not what you want to do or how you even want to do it. Like the how would be, I want to learn React. Maybe the what would be, I want to build an application. But why? Why do you want to build that application? You want to solve a problem, for example. Like I think when you're a mentor, it's important to dig a little bit deeper in your mentee to find that why, like the purpose, why you want to do that. Because maybe you find out in your mentee that the path you're looking for or you want to go isn't going to solve the problem why you are doing this.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you can't argue with Simon. What do you say to
Yeah.
So no, that sounds great, Mark. But I wanted to ask Debbie. I think Debbie, you're the only one who is like officially a mentor. Sorry, I didn't mean. Why did I do air quotes? I mean, there's no need for air quotes, was there? You're like it was part of your job before, so
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else. I mean, like I sort of hinted on earlier, Danny does a lot of his sort of mentoring via motivational tweets, but you know, it's part of your job description. So, I mean, if you know, I don't want to know what your sort of your responsibilities were, but you know, what were your responsibilities, sort of thing, because you know, we're talking about all of the sort of like passive ways you can get a mentor, but you actually did it as a job. So I just want to sort of understand the differences between those two things, really, and you know how you do it as a job. I know you said like about your mentee who was doing Rails. You didn't do Rails yourself, so you know how was that sort of handled? Apart from how you already sort of you know detailed to us already, like with your job as doing that. So, you know, when you have to feed back to people and say, oh, I've had, you know, I've helped X, Y, and Z people this week. How does it work in that sort of capacity, really?
So that's a lot of questions I've got to try and remember.
I know, Rod, I'm so sorry.
No pressure, right? No, you're fine. So yeah, I worked for Treehouse and I worked for Open Classrooms. So as soon as I finished, I did the tech degree with Open Classrooms. I did the tech degree with Treehouse, and they contacted me and asked me to work for them. So at the time, I was also working a full-time job. So this wasn't a full-time job. This was something I was doing extra because I wanted to give back to people and help someone else and let someone else get on that journey and get to where I was, because I got there thanks to a mentor. And if I hadn't had that mentor, I probably wouldn't have got there. So these people were paying for these tech degrees. So with Treehouse, it was a little different because we mentored in Slack. So every day we would go through the Slack channels and we would answer anyone's questions. And basically, if anyone was stuck, we couldn't do one-to-ones on Treehouse. That wasn't allowed. So it was like literally like, you know, answer in the Slack channel, because if I answered a private DM, nobody else got to see the results of that conversation. And if I did it in a channel, which people are afraid like, oh, but I don't want to ask this stupid question. It's like, no, it's actually a really good question and it's going to help 20 other people. So, you know, let's move it over here and follow it down. And then other people jumped in and kind of even like also helped with the answers. So that was one way of mentoring, which was just through chat, basically, right? And it's what you do in a normal job. So, you know, we work through Slack and we ask questions in a general channel and people jump in. And then with Open Classrooms, it was a one-on-one where you were assigned a student and you were meant to take them from the start of that path all the way through the end. So it was basically a 12-month path. But when you didn't have a skill, you could then go to the mentoring channel and say, hey, I've got a student here in Ruby, anyone available? And then you would pass that student on. At the time, my student didn't want to leave me, which is kind of normal because, you know, you've got a great working relationship with your mentor mentee. And he was like, oh, I don't want to not have you as a mentor. And we were doing really well. And I said, okay, well, look, let's just see how it goes. But the moment you need tech help with Ruby, I have to pass you to someone else. And when that moment comes, you're going to thank me for it. So that's basically how we overcome that situation. And I said, I'm still available, because we still had a chat system. I said, I'm still available in the chat, and I still want you to send me, the hey, I did really good and I passed. I still want to know how you're getting on. And I'm still there. And if it doesn't work out and you don't like that mentor for whatever reason, you can always come back to me. So that kind of gives them that, okay, I'm willing to like leave you and go somewhere else because I know I can come back. Yeah, it's hard being available. So I had to have like times where I was available and they were my like slots. And it is hard because I was also trying to be very available. So sometimes people would cancel almost at last minute. And then I'd like, all my plans were changed, and that got a bit annoying. And it's like, come on, people, like just, tell me beforehand if you're not going to be able to make it and stuff. So sometimes that's hard. And yeah, it was a really nice experience. I really, really enjoyed doing it. I don't have the time personally to do it now. And I have been contacted by people in private DM and saying, can you mentor me? And I have to say no. And I know that sounds really, really bad, because what they're expecting of me is that 1-to-1 hour session, or I'll review your code, etc. And my job is to Nuxtify the world, right? So my job is to help everybody learn Nux. So I need to be available for everyone and not one specific person. So I will create materials, videos, and if someone does need help, reach out and ask a question. I will answer a question. But if you say like, can you be my mentor? I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I don't have an hour a week to dedicate to one person, right? So yeah, I think it's about different types of mentoring and different types of perceptions of what mentoring is for people as well.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, I guess, isn't it? Because once it's not your job anymore to do that, but you still want people to win. You still want to help people, and like you say, I bet Danny gets DMs every day for asking people, asking to be mentored, and you can't do it in that respect. And that's why what I'm saying for people who I admire, like my MDX embed buddies, Rich and Paul. They just pump out loads of content, and you can get information from that without having to sort of hit them up and say, look, how do I do this, how do I do that? They've usually done that sort of information, detailed it themselves. I think this is why it's important to blog and to share your experience, and learn in public for that thing, because it's just a time constraint, I think, because I mean, who has time if it's not your full-time job? I think it's Danny. Is that your full-time job? Twitter mentor?
Seems like
honestly, my stats now, it's so different. And Debbie is so true about this, because when I first started, like even being online, and I had like 300 followers and 500 followers, I had all the time in the world to answer one-on-one questions, right? You would DM me a question. Yeah, no problem. We could go back and forth. Now, on average, I get about 500 messages a day. Wow. There is no feasible way as a human being that I can do this and reply to everybody. I make the biggest attempt to apply to as many people as possible. And a lot of times, if I see the same question over and over, I'll tweet out the answer to that, so I make sure I'm helping as many people. But now with being at almost 50,000, like I'm almost at 50,000 people now. Like there's no way that I have that ability. Everyone asks, and I actually literally get this question 20 times a day now. Can you mentor me? Can you mentor? My goal when I started this was to help as many people reach what they wanted. Simple as that. That is my goal. I want to help you get to where you're going. I don't charge a damn dime for this. What my payment is knowing you got there and I can join that success with you. That's it. I want to happy dance with you. Just give me a reason to do it, right? That is why I'm doing this. But now it's impossible for me to spend that one-on-one time. Like that's why I started my Discord community. We have over 2,000 developers in there. And the reason why I started it was this is a place where I can answer questions one-on-one. But now so many great developers are in there. They can help answer these questions as well. Not only that, you're able to network in a more like personal setting as opposed to in front of the whole world where you may feel nervous. But because of that, and I only started the Discord server, like 6 weeks ago, it's already blown up. Like that's the kind of community I want to create because it's supporting each other. My only goal is literally to support you in whatever way that I can. Sometimes I don't have that ability to do it one-on-one, but it doesn't mean that I can't try to present you in front of someone that can help. But here's the other thing. Instead of DMing me that question, when you reply to a tweet of mine or you basically tweet it out yourself, people are going to see it. Other professionals can answer. Like, if you're just looking for one answer from one individual, it's really hard to allocate that time. But if you're putting it in front of the world, we have the most supportive community of developers in the history of mankind. Why not go in front of them and ask this question? Why not say, hey, can you help me here? Because I guarantee you somebody will.
Yeah, completely. And the same in like Discord, right? You know, like Nuxt has a Discord channel. We have so many people in there from the community that are answering. We don't need the Nuxt team to always be answering, because we have people who know more than us sometimes, that have worked at it day to day, that have dealt with that same problem that you're going through. So we have all these resources, and use the community, not just the actual official people. Yeah, the community is there for you, so use it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a comment here from Eliahu Garcia. I think that pointing someone in the right direction is mentoring too, even Absolutely. If you point them to a different person. What do you think? Yes, definitely.
For sure. And I'm going to answer that because I did that literally yesterday or today. Mike, who's Australian, I did a live stream with him, and he had a question about Webpack loaders, and he just put it in Twitter saying, I have a question about Webpack loaders, can anyone help? Right? And I went, oh, Johannes is a friend of mine, and Johannes is a Webpack core team, and he's going to be the best person to help. And I went, maybe Johannes can help you. And then he was like, oh, great. And he was able to send that, and they were able to connect. So just through me, he was able to connect to the right person. So I helped him by doing nothing but just putting him in the right direction. So yes, completely.
Perfect. So we are more or less in the halftime of the show now. I think it's time to start with the giveaway. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we
talk about the sponsor.
Yes.
Talk about how awesome the sponsor is, and how awesome Cloudinary is. So I'll go first. What I know of Cloudinary, it's this is just my observation of it, Debbie. Is that it's an image service which you can put your images on it, and it will pretty much like what Gatsby Image does. It will have them all in different sizes for you, and they'll be cached on their CDM. And you can do some really cool stuff with it as well. You can put text on it. You can auto-generate things like that. So I think it's a really cool service. I haven't got into it a great deal, but I know for blogs which are very image heavy, this is a really useful tool for that sort of thing. Maybe you could go into it a bit more, Debbie.
I think you've done a great job there, Scott, to be honest. But basically, like, it's free to sign up to, right? And you only pay if you've got like loads of bandwidth and, you know, transformations going on. So yep. I don't pay anything because I don't have a lot of people that go to my website because it's not very good. So basically, like, if you're a developer out there and you want to use it, it's free to sign up and have a go of it. And then when the time comes that you're making loads and loads of money, then, you know, you're going to have the money to pay for it. So completely check it out. And it's very good for performance because it's going to, like, say, automatically download the right format of the image for you. You're able to transformations like on the fly. What does that mean? It means literally in your code, you have one image. So you're not editing the image. You're just transforming it in the moment in the browser by putting like a little thing like Q Auto. It's going to automatically put the right quality on it for you. So you just have these little kind of transformation codes kind of thing that you put in the URL, and then you add all these stuff to your images. So you're able to, like, you don't need Photoshop, right? Because you can then just make a circular image, make a square image, add the text. You can do so much. And video as well. It works amazing with video. So yeah, I highly recommend you play around with it. It's really, really cool. And with Nuxt, we have a module. So if you're working with Nuxt, you can just add Cloudinary. And version 1 was released literally today by Maya Shavan from Cloudinary. So the Nuxt module version 1 is released, and you can just easily add it into your application with Nuxt. And yeah, it's cool.
Yes, amazing. So we have some comments here. Oh, it's just Annie. Okay.
Just Annie.
Just Annie.
Just Annie.
That came off a little bit wrong.
I'm trying to reply to like the comments in the chat and people, so that way, you know, we keep it active and going. So sorry. Okay,
so Debbie talked about Cloudinary Nuxt module, and we have 2 questions. So for each question, we are going to wait for the first person to give the right answer to the question, and then we move on to the next one. So Debbie
What's
will
the prize?
verify
What's
the
the prize?
answers, but we made up some questions before. So the first question is a
I'm
little
just
bit.
going to interrupt you, Mark.
Yeah.
For anyone who joined late, if anyone came in late, the prize is a 6-month subscription.
Oh, sorry.
To FrontendMasters. And I personally use FrontendMasters every day, not every day because I don't have time, but almost every day. I absolutely love FrontendMasters. If you want to learn Vue and Nuxt, Sarah Drasner's got a new course, a new workshop just out there. If you're learning React, Danny, there's amazing workshops on there. Everyone, like literally in the dev world as senior devs, we all use that platform. It's brilliant. So having 6 months to be able to go and watch these workshops is an incredible prize. So yeah.
It's also quite a value. I think 6 months is like over $200 of worth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So get ready, everyone, for the first question. So a little bit an easier question to start with. What is one of the features of the Cloudinary Nuxt module? Go on. What is one of the features of the Cloudinary Nuxt module?
So we'll wait for the answers in the chat.
We wait for the answers in the chat. Come on, guys.
I'm going to answer one of the comments while we're waiting for people to find the answer to one of the features of the Nuxt module. Someone's in there saying they're afraid of ageism because they're 47. I learned JavaScript at 37, 38.
Yeah,
So
I'm 44.
Yeah. So there's no age is not an issue. Actually, a Japanese woman learned at 81 or 84. So I mean, if she can do it.
Oh yeah, I just read about that on Reddit. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Incredible, right? Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, don't let age stop you ever doing anything. Like seriously.
I talk about this quite frequently. I work with a 22-year-old that learned how to code. I was 30 when I started learning how to code. One of my best friends was 47 when he made the transition from burger restaurant to developer, and he's a software engineer now at a Fortune 100 company in our town. And I worked with a phenomenal 60-year-old who was a front-end developer, and she was bad. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse. Bad as hell. Oh, she was a badass. She was a badass. And now she actually, as a senior developer, senior front-end developer at an insurance firm in our town as well. So your code will speak for you more often than not than your age. But also being very honest about this, just like any industry, we have all the isms, ageism, sexism, racism, whatever. You will face it because of some small-minded individual. Just move on to the next company if that's the case.
Move on, yeah. Great words, Danny.
Okay.
Do we have a winner?
I think we have a winner. The first one, image resizing, Tyler Broadway.
Woo!
Congratulations, Tyler.
Yeah, buddy.
Whoop, whoop.
Tyler Broadway. So how do we do this for? I hope Tyler is on Twitter.
The Whiskey Wednesday Twitter account.
He is on Twitter. He's a follower of mine. I've seen his name before.
Great.
Okay, amazing. Then just send us a message, either Scott or I, a message with your name, your email address, and where you're from, and we will get you that 6 months of FrontendMasters subscription.
Awesome.
Mark,
Great.
are your DMs open?
My DMs are open.
Okay, I'm going to send your link in the chat so people can follow you.
Okay, second question is a little bit more technical. You might have to look in the documentation, or you already know Cloudinary, which gives you a home field advantage. When Cloudinary generates a URL for an image, so when it generates a URL for an image, what does it mean when in the URL it says C_thumb?
C_thumb. So what does like the C stand for? C stands for thumb is like, your thumb. So what does the C stand for of the thumb? What's it doing? C thumb. What does the C mean?
The C. What could C
The letter
mean?
C.
The letter C, lowercase C_thumb.
It's going to do something to your image. What's it going to do?
Yeah.
What's the verb?
Cheese it. Is it going to cheese it?
Cheese it.
Cheese the image.
Interesting, wouldn't it?
Cut it.
That's a good one.
It's going to create it probably.
Create is a good one. We're looking for verbs.
We have.
We have a right answer.
Where is the first one? Stop scrolling. I think it's this one.
Brendon, yes.
Brendon Mcoy.
Yes, correct. C for crop. Crop your image.
Congrats, Brendon.
I
think he said that he's just started his coding journey this year, and he's.
Oh, congratulations, Brendon!
Really?
You'll get a lot of use out of that.
Awesome.
So, I think Dominic Kiesling should get something for clap as well.
Clap your image.
Clap it. Clap your image. It's better than cheesy, I guess. So.
Center. Oh, Dominic, sorry. Yeah, some great answers there. People are getting there. They've obviously know what's going on, or they've been checking the documentation. So that's great. But yeah, we have our winners. So that's cool.
Yeah, so our winners, Tyler's Broadway and Brendon Mcoy. Great work. So congrats on that 6-month subscription, sponsored by Cloudinary.
And to be honest, they're both great human beings, so I'm glad they won it, and I hope they use it for good use.
Yes.
Congrats.
And then blog about everything you learned, so we can kind of
we can learn too.
And then you can mentor us with your wisdom about Cloudinary.
There you go.
Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, how do I?
Now all the viewers are gone.
Yeah, -7.
What?
I'm joking. We still want 22.
Oh, Brendon wrote us. Thank you guys very much. This has made my 2020 much better.
Aww.
Great.
Cheers, Brendon. Good luck.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. Okay. So, what should we talk next? So we talked about what is supposed.
Does anyone have any questions in the chat? Is anyone watching, kind of going?
Yes, let's make a question round.
Question or a doubt or something. So if you do, now is the time to ask us. We're here.
Give Danny another chance to scream at you.
Yeah,
I could do that all the time. You just got to give me a reason.
You don't need a reason.
You know what's weird? I'm never in my mind okay, I'm gonna scream now. It just happens. I never plan that. It just comes out. But people like it, so I'm glad. Yeah, I really get into stuff.
You believe in what you're saying, so
people like it, and a lot of my following likes it, so I can't really complain too much. I will say one thing about mentorship, since we're talking about this subject. Everyone always gets wrapped up in the fact that I need to do this because this person is saying this. It's good to get the feedback of mentors, and it's good to get the feedback of not just mentors, but people in your life, people around you, but also understand something. You don't need to necessarily follow whatever their expectations are of you. And sometimes I really do believe this, and I say this a lot. Sometimes don't let the expectations of you decide what you must do in life. Sometimes we have to disappoint others to actually reach what we want. And I genuinely believe that sometimes we have to just disappoint people to get what we want, what we need, and what we believe will be our path to success and happiness. And if you're wrong, that's a great learning experience. There's no such thing as a failure unless you're too stubborn to learn from that mistake. Simple as that. It's going to be a great lesson one way or another. And no great drinking story has ever started with a big win. It's always started with, man, you won't believe the shit I just started the other day. You won't believe what I did at work. Those failures will genuinely make you a better human being.
Definitely. Without failures, how they always say, when you're not failing, you're not working. You're not doing anything if you're not failing.
I'm a big believer in failing fast, failing forward, and quickly pivoting. I have no problem with I love failure. Failure literally means I just moved an obstacle out of the way on my path to success. Simple as that. I just realized, this doesn't work. Let me step here. That's all failure is.
Yeah.
So any other questions from our live audience? We still have 19 people watching us. This is, by the way, this is big for me. 19 people. I think at the beginning we had 5.
I tweeted it out. You're welcome. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much. Okay, so you can always ask questions. We will eventually get to it. Let's just continue a little bit talking about, we talked about what a mentor should be, what he should know, what he shouldn't, or what he doesn't have to know. But so I want to talk a little bit, what is a good mentee? So you said, Danny, that per day you get like 500 messages, please mentor me, please mentor me. And I think that's something that I want to talk about. Like, instead of like going to people, mentor me, I think we need to adopt sort of a mindset. It is like, not that if I get a mentor, I excel, but you have to be more like, if I excel, I get a mentor. So if you start doing stuff, you make connections to people and you start talking, and there is where you can ask people, hey, how would I do this? And can you help me a little bit? And I think we should try to look at it a little bit more like, if I become better, I have a better chance of being mentored. No, that came out wrong. If I become better, I'm connecting more with people. I'm connecting maybe on an empathic level. So it's more of a conversation really than a mentorship where you set like, okay, I have every day from 6:30 to 6:45 for you, and you have to be on time and so on. So what do you guys think about that?
I thought Debbie wanted to go first. I can run my mouth if you want me to. Okay, I'll go.
I'm going to refresh the screen. I'm getting a bit laggy.
Oh, you are laggy. That's why. Because you were still looking away, and I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. All right.
I'm going to refresh.
Okay.
Sure. So for me, and this is like one of my biggest tips when it comes to networking, because people always ask me, how do I network? Because I'm a big believer in, like, I don't like filling out job applications. I'd rather leverage my network for opportunities. And when you get a very solid network, you can make some great things happen. So the number one tip when it comes to networking is act with purpose. Move with purpose. If I'm approaching someone, there's a purpose. Move with purpose. Speak with purpose. So if I come to you and I'm saying, I need help with something, don't just say mentor me. Come with purpose. Meaning, hey, I'm having trouble with this thing in Nux. Can you answer this question related to A, B, and C? Now you've come with purpose. If I have the time, I can answer directly, and now we get a conversation going. But if you just come to me almost with a begging mentality, because I talk about this all the time too, don't approach people or interviews with a begging mentality. I just need a chance. Give me a chance. I just need a chance. Haven't you ever seen a scenario where like a beggar or a homeless person just comes up to you and begs for money? It's not that we want to be negative to that person. It's almost like an innate reaction to be like, oh no, they're begging me. I don't want to deal with this headache. But instead, if you come with a value concept, meaning I'm valuable, I'm going to bring value to this conversation, and I need you to bring value as well so we can keep this going. I'm going to bring value to this team. If you bring value, a company will bring a checkbook. It's as simple as that. But if you bring value to a conversation where you're trying to get a mentor, they will perceive you as valuable and come back with that exact same level of value. So come to me. Don't just say, oh, I need a mentor. Can you mentor me? Can you help me get my life together? Can you help me get that dream job that I want? Can you help me? Can you help? No. Come with, hey, I'm doing great. I've excelled in this area. I'm having trouble here. Can you help me with A, B, and C? If you do that, I guarantee you your level of responses, the level of interest will grow exponentially higher than any other method or technique that you utilize.
Yeah. I mean, it's about being respectful of people's times and
I said that earlier. I don't want to say it again.
Well, I'm sorry, Danny.
That's why I'm trying to come with something else.
It's about being respectful of people's time and giving them a lot of the time is your desired outcome. So, if you're reaching out to someone to say, look, X, Y, Z, and just list it out so they can just go, right, okay, and just cross one of those things off the list and say, yes, this sort of thing. Rather than having them to sort of, guessing at what the request is about. So that's a good one to note as well. Debbie?
Yeah, I will add into that like I personally, in my first time going for the job interview, I was that desperate person. I was in that desperate situation. And I did go into it basically saying, but please, 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 please. And, you know, I got a no. I mean, I got a definite no, and they felt so bad. And I actually met that person about a year later, and we had a lovely chat. And he was like saying, I felt so bad for you. I really wanted to give you a job, but, you know, we would have had to spend so much time teaching you and stuff, and you weren't ready. But getting that no actually pushed me to go forward and be better and learn more. And I think a lot of people think that they need to just like, you know, just get that one yes. No, you need to get all those no's first. That no will make you stronger, and that no will get you there. So when you're applying for a job, when you're going in, don't just go in and say, please, please, hey, please, I need it. Yes, maybe you do. Maybe you are struggling to feed the kids. Maybe you do need money and stuff, but do never go in there because it's not a charity. It is a job. So go in there and say, look, I'm after doing this. This is what I'm after doing. This is what I can do for you. Yeah, I don't know that, but I'll learn it. I can learn that. I just learned this, so I'll learn that, and show them like what you can do. And go in there and try it out, and don't be afraid of getting no's. No's make you stronger.
It's the value proposition, isn't it, Debbie? It's you need to be showing your value. I'm just waiting for. See how long I can keep talking now, just to stop Danny from talking.
Well, she said something that I like, and you know, I remember, and I'm saying this because I know we have some very, very beginners in this chat right now. I remember when I just started learning JavaScript, I was like, oh, I know everything. The world began and ended at JavaScript. There's nothing past this. So I just started learning. I didn't even know what an array was at this point, right? And I'm applying to jobs. And I got a call back from one job, right? And so I'm doing this interview with them, and they're like, so you know JavaScript? I was like, yeah, I know JavaScript. I'm working in JavaScript, learning JavaScript. I know JavaScript. And they're like, well, do you know React? And I was like, yeah, I know how to react, happy, sad, mad. What are you talking about? I didn't realize, because of my lack of knowledge, that React was a framework, because I didn't get that far at Free Code Camp yet. Like, I didn't know what frameworks were at that point. I just knew vanilla JavaScript. It was great for me to get that, because I realized there's so much that I need to learn. And I remember, so I was very stubborn when I was doing my job search for my first job in tech. I was still working in the gas station frying chicken, and I had gotten 6 job offers that I turned down because I still hadn't found that job that I really wanted. I was stubborn, and I had a very clear message of what I wanted, and there was this one company that I wanted this bad. Like, I went into and I did everything right. There was nothing I could have done better. I brought everything that I could possibly bring to that conversation and that table, right? And I got that no. I was so sick, I laid in bed for a couple of days. Like, I was sick. And I remember, like, I was like, oh, that was the dream company for me. It was the best thing that never happened, because not even a week and a half later, I found my dream company. And they're so far apart in what they offered. Like, it instantly made me forget about the previous one. And I can tell you, if I took that previous job, I would have turned this job down. And I guarantee you, I regretted that for the rest of my life if I did that situation. Best thing that never happened. Sometimes, and I'm a big believer in this, sometimes the universe will move things out of your way that you may think are beneficial for you, but they're not. The universe has heard things, seen things, and done things, and moved things out of the way and made moves that you wouldn't have made. So don't always look at that situation as, man, I failed. You may not have. It may just be that the ink is not done drying and you're about to write that next chapter. So just keep progressing and moving forward.
Danny, you're going to make me cry. And I just want to touch on that because I want to share an experience I had, which was, you know, when I started to learn JavaScript, I had a strong history in like HTML, CSS, SAS. I was very, very good at that. I was working in web development in that, but I wasn't able to get a job because the web development had moved onwards and I hadn't moved with it. So my skills, when I went into a job interview, do you know React? Do you know JavaScript? No. Okay, see you later. Meant I was unemployable. So I had to retrain myself and relearn. At that stage, I had like a very hard life issue that happened, which basically kind of put me in a situation where, you know, I was like really, really bad and almost gave up on myself, on like, you know, life in general. So I had to get out of that, which was hard, and then get into like changing your life. And like the guy in the chat says, you know, I wasn't young. I'm like, you know, almost 40 at this stage, and I'm changing my career. And I don't have like, you know, a career behind me. I've never been to university. So it's like, I'm struggling now, but I want to make this happen. So I work hard. I have my mentor who pushes me and stuff. When I went for that job interview, which was the first one I went for, we get a trial over here. They send you like a test to do a coding challenge. So I had a coding challenge, which was create a booking engine in React. Right now, I don't know JavaScript, and my coding challenge is to create a booking engine in React. So I'm freaking out, and I'm like doing this. I spent 6 weeks full time. I gave up my job in teaching English, and I worked full time at building this booking engine. Now I managed to do it. It was crap. It was really bad, but it worked, and I was proud of it. So I sent it in, and then I got like, wow, like, we can see how much you've tried for this. Can you build a Chrome extension and add a README and do something else? So then I went off and went, okay, spend another 2 weeks full time doing this. Then I do that, send it in and say, look, I've done all this, blah, blah. Then they come back to me saying, that's great. You're the most enthusiastic applicant we've ever had in our lives. So I'm like going, I have this job. This is my job. This is mine. They give me another challenge. I spend another 2 weeks full time handing this in. And I hand this in, and then I get a no. Human resources, thank you very much for your time, but sorry, you haven't been successful now. And I just cried. I was like, okay, I've given up. I failed. And in my life, I was like, that's it. I failed. I can't. How can you come back after that, right? That was hard. And to be honest, it was like there was a guy who was working in there who I managed to be able to contact through a friend. And he said, keep building stuff. He says, just keep building stuff. And in a year's time, things will be very different. And I'm thinking, I don't have a year. I can't wait a year for this. But he was so right in what he said, because I just kept building stuff. And it took less than a year. And, I got some more no's. And then I eventually got that one yes. And once I got that one yes, I mean, now look where I am today. And I mean, it's 3 years minus a month that I finished studying, that I was learning JavaScript. Like 4 years ago, I didn't know JavaScript. And now I'm working for a JavaScript framework. I mean, that's incredible. And that's because dedication and because I got that nose. If I had got that yes and went to that other company, I would not be here today. I would have just stayed doing that, and I wouldn't have pushed myself harder. So yeah.
Beautiful story.
I think there's whoa, let's all talk at once. Let's go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, talk.
What I was going to say, I want to kind of touch on one thing just to bring it back to the main topic that we're talking about. So Debbie, beyond fantastic that you were able to persevere through that and reach where you reached. And for me, when it was coming to meetups and mentoring people, I was literally in a gas station mentoring developers that were actually in the industry because of the passion I was bringing to the table. They were looking at that. And I remember I went to the first, everyone that is looking for a job in tech that goes to Meetup, I was like, how do I get the first job in tech? And I heard the exact same answer over and over and over again. Oh, that first job, that's the hardest thing to get. But once you get that first job, everything after that is so easy. I thought that was the worst advice you could give someone like me. So I literally created a LinkedIn. I literally started cold calling and cold messaging hiring managers and decision makers for businesses. And I started helping people get jobs in tech. And I helped the first person, and that first person became 10, 10 became 20, 20 became 40, and 40 became over 70 people now. And I don't charge a dime for that. But it just shows that if you actually go into a scenario, and most of these people were doing the same thing, they were getting crushed by these no's. They didn't want to go back out there and get another no. And it was you need to take that no to let you know that this is a company you shouldn't be considering and go to the next one. And what happened after that? The community started growing. The mentors started growing. We started getting people with development experience of 10 years coming to mentor small developers. Now, if you look at my hiring network, I got CTO, CEO, CIOs, people I would never be able to talk to in a gas station environment just because that no didn't bother me. And here's the best thing about those no's that you get, especially from people like that. You will literally never meet this person in real life or be in the same room with them ever. So why not put yourself out there? They're not coming to where you're hanging out at if you're not working at the same place. So get that no and move on to the next one.
And you're not allowed outside your house anyway. So, I mean.
Yeah.
No, I think that's so. How long did you spend in total, Debbie, on those projects? Sounds like a good month. At
9
least.
weeks. 9 weeks
Wow.
in total
So, would you repeat that again? Because I think Dan Spratling made a good comment. Was that these challenges sound like build stuff for us for free?
Yeah, well, I think in Spain, this is normal. I don't know about in America or where everyone else is based, but in Spain, it's normal to get a challenge before you even get an interview. So
I know, but this is like 3 really big
well, it is,
projects.
but I applied for a job that was like probably way above my skill level, right? So if you already know React, then you could probably build that in, maybe 8 hours, maybe a day, maybe less. So you could probably do it in a shorter space of time. But I didn't know JavaScript, so I didn't even know what an array was. So I had a huge learning curve to go. But what it did give me was, when they gave me that challenge, it showed me what I needed to become a developer, right?
Yeah.
I was able to see, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm bad at. This is what I need to improve on. And I was able to learn the skills thanks to that challenge. So yes, and I don't mean to sound horrible to the company, because I actually think they gave me a very good chance by actually asking me to do another challenge, because that pushed me to learn something else that I didn't know. And that company, for me, like, I've been back in that company and I've done a workshop with them for a 5-day workshop. I spent time with them. I run my meetups in their company. Like, I really, really respect them, and I respect them more for giving me the no. And I'm more grateful for them for giving me the no than for taking me on, because that would have been probably the worst for both of us.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I have another question, or a little bit apart from the job thing, back to the mentor thing. Like, if
apparently we chose the wrong topic and didn't realize it.
We have to do one in the second season. That's about finding a job. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd definitely be on that one.
Okay, book it.
Let's talk about paid mentorships. Do you think they're a thing? You have opinions on them?
I think it depends.
Mark, was that what you were going to ask, Mark? Was that your question?
No, it was another one, but let's go with that one.
I'll answer it. I think it depends on the person. So, and I think it depends on your situation. I personally needed a mentor because the situation where I was in life, I wasn't feeling very confident in myself in general. Therefore, I needed a mentor. I still today need a mentor because I like to push myself a lot. And I don't like to just be in one position. I like to constantly make myself better and better and better. So I constantly need that mentor to help push me. Some people don't need a paid mentor. Some people are quite happily able to open a book on their own, code on their own, learn on their own, and can probably even do better than someone with a mentor. Everyone is different. So everyone's needs are different. Some people learn with a video, some learn with a blog post, some learn just opening the code and breaking things and fixing them. So yeah, I think sometimes you kind of know as well if you're the type of person that needs someone to like help push you. And also some people need a mentor to make sure they do what they're meant to do, because they give up. They very easily, they get lost, they get sidetracked, they start watching Netflix, and then they're like, oh yeah, I didn't have time. Like, yes, you did. And you need that one person to come and say, come on. So yeah, I think some people do need paid mentorship, and I think some people don't.
I'll tell you the way I look at paid mentorship. If you look at any professional athlete on any level in the world, they have a coach that they pay to be in their corner to get advice from. There are things that we get stuck in our head that we can't get outside of, and that mentor can see that, especially if you have a long-going relationship. So if you look now, I've done paid mentorships for a lot of people, and it's because it's hard to dedicate that time to somebody unless there's an incentive there. And it's just because we're humans by nature. But that's actually why I love doing meetups, is I'll get that dedicated time for free where I can give it to so many people and bring valuable speakers. But I absolutely have done many times in the past where I've had several paid mentors, because that's the only way I can get their time to level myself up. I mean, how can you go to someone who's got a full-time job, they got a family, they're doing things on their own, they got a YouTube channel, they're probably doing Girl Scouts on the weekend with their family and things like that. You're now asking them to give you more time to take away from something else. So if you're not paying them for that, how can you even consider them to take you seriously as well? Like, think about that. When we do our free advice for people, that's a situation where it's like, okay, I'm helping them out now. But do you think I'm going to consistently be invested in your goals and in your life unless there's an incentive there for me? It's the same with anything. And it's even for you. Like, if you were to go to somebody and they're giving you free time, you're going to be like, hey, that's awesome. But eventually you're going to like, are they really into me? Like, are they really putting my best situation forward? Or are they just trying to brush me away as quickly as possible? So if that incentive is there, like, I did tennis for years and I was pretty good at a great level, but there's no way I would have ever got there without training and teachers and coaches and things like that. And that's pretty much with anything. Soccer, you've got your coaches and you got your teams and you got your practice. So if they're not invested in you, they won't be.
Yeah.
I love tennis. I haven't played tennis in about 13 years, and I really like tennis. Should we talk about tennis?
And I would never be able to learn taekwondo without someone teaching, right? It's like impossible. I mean, you could watch a YouTube video and you could, try, but you're not. I always kind of also like to think of sport in coding. It's very, very similar. And I think if you ever do sport, you can kind of almost every situation, you can the coding journey relates to sport. I always think of it as well, like, in taekwondo, you get to a black belt, right? And you think, right, I've learned everything. So like you said, I've learned JavaScript, I've learned everything. And you kind of feel like I'm black belt now. But then you go, there's first dan, there's second dan, there's third dan, there's fourth dan, there's fifth dan, there's sixth dan, there's seventh dan, there's eighth dan, right? So every time you get to one, yes, you should celebrate it. And yes, you should say, wow, I did amazing. But now I've got to go and climb up again and start again. And that's okay as well.
Yeah, I think because in web dev, the learning doesn't stop, does it? Mm-hmm. It doesn't. So that's a good analogy, actually, Debbie. I think I'll use that for something one day, maybe. I'll put it in my awesome quotes document I've got.
I mean, that's literally why I have I have 3 rules to become a developer fast, and the very first one is always ABL, always be learning. And a developer that is always learning is a developer that's always in the workforce. Like, you're never going to be outdated or run out of things to do or learn. And for example, COBOL has made a comeback now, but before it made that comeback, COBOL developers were learning something else to stay relevant within the field and collect those big paychecks. No one is paying you to be able to be like, hey, this is a YouTube tutorial that you learned. Fantastic. They're paying you because they need problem solved. And that is exactly why we make great money doing what we're doing. And that's why we're going to continue to do that, is we're problem solvers. So if you just come in saying, hey, I'm going to fix buttons all the time, well, they may not need you for that. So if you're learning more things beyond that, you're going to keep doing great. And the second thing I wanted to touch on, and it has nothing to do with the subject we just mentioned, and I said this earlier, and a lot of people are noticing this now in the chat. They're like, Debbie, you're inspirational, you're great, we're following you now. I said before we got on the air, I've been a fan of Debbie for a long time. I know I'm very calm, cool, and collected, but on the inside, I'm like, oh my gosh, she knows me now. But before this... No, but if you're not following her, absolutely follow her. I've loved her talks. I've been listening to her for quite some time now, and I don't even work in Vue, so that just lets you know how great she is at what she does. Like, Mark is the Vue guy in our group. I don't know anything about it, so and I love what he does as well. But definitely follow all these people. Except
and
Scott.
I've got a YouTube channel now, so I'm going to be like getting
loads of
content out there and loads of content in general. So help me build that channel, because it's going to be really bad, and you're going to see like my email opened in the middle of while I was coding. I was like, oh God, seriously. So I'll be showing a lot of my imperfections. So it's going to be fun.
There you go.
I love authentic videos. Just afraid to do it then myself. So
yeah, I'm not doing unedited. Like, someone told me, like, if you're going to do YouTube, the hardest part is the editing. You're going to spend hours editing. And I was like, no, that's not what I don't want to be a perfectionist. I don't want to be like a professional editor of videos. I want to actually just share what's in my head. There's a lot of stuff in my head. I want to get it out there and share it. And also I'm going to forget it. So I want to get it out there so I can remember it later. And when I Google it, I'll find myself.
This is the thing. This is what I do. I put all that stuff out there just for me when I've forgotten it. And that is, that's great to do that. And I'm a big fan of the unedited YouTube, because one, I don't have time to sit and edit my own videos. And I get loads of comments just like with people just screaming at the screen where I've like put an equal sign instead of a hyphen and stuff like that. And I just get it out there, get it out there, so it's done. But I know, like, there's a lot of very professional YouTubers out there, but for me, it's a lot of the time it's just like an accompaniment to something I'm doing. So it's just like, this is how I've done it here, like in a blog, and then I'll put a video together as well just to explain it. But the unedited's the way to go, I think. But
Yeah,
you don't want to
I
look
think
at
a lot
my.
of
You
people
don't want to look at
appreciate the
my.
raw. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to look at my deleted items folder.
and,
So
and
start a
I think
video.
me and Mark can relate to that when we were in the View Amsterdam conference, and we were all speaking. Now we're all like pre-recording our talks, so we're talking into a computer, we're pressing a record button. I pressed the record button and it didn't press for some reason, so I recorded my talk and it didn't record, so then I had to do it all over again. So we make loads of mistakes, and then we like send it in, and we're all nervous and stressed out, and this is going live, and then Tim Bennix comes along with this absolutely amazing talk, like fully edited with like transitions, and like he comes along with the guitar, and then he's back, and then it's talk, and we're like, oh my god, like professional YouTuber or something, like, hello, what's happening here? And and everyone was in the chat going, oh, why can you all be like Tim? Can you all do this? Can you all do this? And we were all kind of thinking like, yeah, oh my god, Tim, you really should.
I don't have a guitar to start with.
But also what's really important is that we can't all be like that either, because then the world would be very boring, because what Tim did is amazing, but if we all did that, it wouldn't be amazing. He would just be normal. And I think like there's some people who give talks and do live coding, and they do it like really, really well. If we all did live coding, then that wouldn't be amazing either. So everyone does everything different, and that's okay as well. So when you're writing your blog post, when you're doing your YouTube stuff, just be yourself. That's what you're good at. Show what you're good at, and don't try to be someone else. That's my advice from me.
No, that's very true. I think people are going to follow you for your voice, for the way you present the message.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it raw, and uncut, do it that way.
Better. After recording the talk with Josh, I recorded the talk with Josh live on Zoom, and just then he told me, "Oh yeah, you can pre-record it and just send it to us, like edit it." And I was like, "Oh cool! I'm going to make an edited version of it, like super produced and everything." And I couldn't do it. I spent like 10 takes per slide to do something, and it was robotic and not authentic, and it didn't work. And I ended up just sending in the first version, which was just like going at it, like at the slides and the live coding and everything. And I think people liked it. At least I hope so.
Yes. It was very good. You wouldn't have known like that you'd done it more than once. Like, I mean, like you just, and that's what you just got to get it out there. Some people write a post and then go, oh no, it's not good enough. I'm not gonna post it. I'm not gonna share it. Oh, I'll edit it. I'll do it later. Just get it out there. Like, let it be a mess. It doesn't matter. I do everything for myself. I don't do it for anyone else. So if it's on the Nooks blog, obviously that has to be like perfect and really good and stuff. But if it's on my blog, I'm like, I don't care. It can be a mess. It can be just, it's my notes, my brain taking notes. My YouTube channel will be my brain just letting go of stuff in my head, and it's going to be just me.
Have you heard the digital garden concept, Debbie? Where I think it's Joel Hooks from Egghead. I think it's Amy Hoy who's brought it up originally, but basically you put your, it's not like, I mean, for the Nux blog where you say it's got to be perfect, but for your own personal stuff, you just put it out there and then you iterate on it. So it's there for you to reference when you need to, but if it needs updating, then you can update it. And like you say, the base of users that consuming it isn't like massive, and it's just for you really in the end. So I very much subscribe to that now. I just push stuff out and I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's good enough for me, and I'll be happy with that. And if I need to change it, I'll change it. Well,
cool. That's what Twitch streaming is. Like I watch all these developers code on Twitch. Yeah. I love seeing them mess up and figure it out. So that's the same thing here. Just Twitch stream it, and then put it on YouTube. I did that for a long time, and it's a great way for people to interact with you as well. You want to get a one-on-one answer? Come to the stream and ask a question.
This is what I'm going to be doing. So starting from next week, I'm going to be Twitching and YouTubing
there
and all sorts. And
cool.
yeah, I'm just going to have fun.
Looking forward to it.
I was trying to find your channel, Debbie.
I'm because I don't have enough subscribers yet. I don't really exist in the YouTube world. So YouTube don't give you a name until you're subscribed and so many people and so many viewers and stuff. So it's a bit...
Yeah, I think 100 subscribers, then you get a vanity URL.
Yeah, but it's let me see if I can find it. I'll put it quickly in the
just put it in the chat, and then we can all
and also DM me that link, and I'll go ahead and tweet it out, and we'll get you those 100 subscribers. Let's get everybody over there.
Go. Like, it's actually so raw, it's like unbelievable.
This
That's
is cool.
my first video.
So let Debbie find that. Mark, did you have any more questions?
Yes, I just had one topic I wanted to touch quickly. Is like, now we talked about mentors and mentee and everything, and I just wanted to know what you guys think about how to find the perfect mentor for you. There are many people out there that could be your mentor, but how to pick a good one that's right for you? What do you guys think?
Before you answer that, I've posted that in the private chat because I had to shut off my window from the chat because of like it was lagging and stuff.
I just posted it in the comments.
Cool. And I'm actually going to have to shoot off because I need to be in Las Vegas like 20 minutes ago. So I'm already. So I need to like just zoom to Las Vegas for a podcast interview. So
Las Vegas, put 100 on black for me, please.
Okay, I will do. I'll start pushing in Broadway.
It was so great having you, Debbie.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
Amazing
Debbie.
show.
Hear from you.
Lovely meeting you.
Okay.
It's been really great fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you everyone in the chat. I have been reading the messages, but I haven't been able to reply because I just shut off everything because it was like lagging. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it, and I will see you all on Twitter on my beautiful, amazing YouTube channel. It's just been released. You're like early subscribers, and have fun, everyone. Keep going. Don't ever give up, and make it happen. You're the only one that can make that happen. So just do it.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Deb.
See Debbie.
So,
yes, criteria on which to pick a mentor.
Right.
How to find a mentor? What do you guys think?
So
I wouldn't know
for me,
yeah,
I would say finding a mentor. It normally comes from honestly, developing that relationship and those conversations. Because I don't think if you ever approach someone like, hey, can you be my mentor? That they're like, yeah, I'm dropping everything ready to go. But once they actually get to know you and they feel like some kind of connection or investment, that's when you're going to get that like dedicated mentor. But I will say you'll find a bunch of people, for example, I did it. Florin Pop, who's a big YouTuber, he does it, where you can pay for their time to come spend some time with you. And I think that would be more valuable than anything else. And honestly, that's pretty much where you're going to get it. No one's really going to come to you saying, hey, you know what? I've been wasting 2 hours a day and I need to find a mentee. A lot of mentors fall into it. They're not actively looking for that relationship.
Yeah. So I just noticed that you posted that Debbie's YouTube in the chat, but YouTube doesn't like it.
Yeah, you're going to have to do that. I won't let me do that.
We'll put them in the episode in the episode description or in the
I think I can put it. Hold on. But
and if y'all are still in the chat, make sure you follow her on Twitter. She's awesome. Yeah, you can do it. Let's see. I just clicked on it. Yep.
Bro.
Perfect. Yes, so I think we're coming to the end. Scott, did you have any more questions for our guests?
No, I think that's it. Should we go to shameless plugs or anything you want to?
Yes, shameless plugs. Go ahead. Does anyone have something coming up that they want to plug in here?
One thing
James?
I have literally in like 7 hours from now, I have a meetup for financial literacy. I've helped many people land new jobs in tech or change their positions, or now they're going from making, let's say, minimum wage to making a very good sum of money. And one thing that I've commonly seen, just because you make more doesn't mean you save more. And people don't know the basics of how money works, and they're in a situation where their headaches have just escalated with their pay. their burdens have just grown with their paychecks. And so they don't know how to tackle these problems. They're in the same situation. So we actually he's a vice president of engineering at a tech firm in St. Louis, but he is an ex-banker, ex-financial educator, and he's going to be giving money management and basics to basically let your money grow, let the longevity be there, and it applies no matter where you live in the world. I think we have over like 200 people showing up for this one. So if you want to join, there's still time for that. But also check me out on any social media, D Thompson Dev, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and also my podcast as well, Commit Your Code, where I'm always interviewing interesting guests about their journeys and getting valuable advice from them to help you.
I guess if it's interesting guests, I've got no chance of being a guest then.
No, that's what I've never asked.
James, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, shameless plug for me. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, I also just started a YouTube channel, so I have one video. I think I might have already posted the link in the channel, but yeah, I hope to be putting out maybe some tutorials on Vue and maybe the new features in Vue 3, and also started live coding on Twitch. We'll be doing a series on building an app with Vue.js on there. So if you're interested in that,
what sort of app
follow
is
me
it?
on Twitch.
Do you know yet?
It is. I'm still planning out what the exact app will look like. I'm collaborating with another person. So
okay, cool.
But we'll be trying to implement some AWS serverless stuff too. So if you're interested in AWS and the cloud,
Nice.
That'll be good for that. In case you hate JavaScript and just want to know about the cloud.
Cool.
Scott?
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I've got an upcoming talk in November, Scale the Bay. I'm going to be talking about the Jamstack. And apart from that, I've got some more stuff coming up with Mint Bean, where we're going to be doing like a Gatsby workshop, just building a basic blog so everyone can own their content rather than be reliant on platforms like Medium and Dev2. But that's not confirmed yet.
Okay. Yes, I have next week. Last week I made an interview with Evan Yu, the creator of Vue, and next week the interview is going to drop at the platform of Vue.js Amsterdam. The 14th of October, I think it's Wednesday, it's going to drop. I'm really excited to see how it's going. I didn't see the raw video yet, so I'm really excited about that. And then this 22nd of October, I think it's Thursday, the week after, I have the workshop about JavaScript reactivity on Kodu community with Nayal Mahar. I hope I'm saying the name right. It's basically the talk I gave on Vue.js Global, just with more time. Like I just had like 15 minutes of time to live code there. And it all went well, but a little bit too fast. So I want to take my time to explain everything, how it's going, how we can build reactivity from scratch, and how Vue 3 does it at the moment. So I think that's something that's pretty interesting. You don't need to know Vue to watch it. It's all starting from an empty JavaScript file, and we work our way up to a reactivity engine. I think that's something people would enjoy.
Yeah, sounds great.
It's awesome.
Cool. Okay, so I guess that's about wraps it up for this season, and we will be back soon. We need to. Mark and I are going to think about the format of the show and how we're going to do things. But it's been great, isn't it, Mark? I've really enjoyed it.
Yes. I think the quality became better and better. The more we did it, the more we came used to these roles. I'm happy how it turned out at this 10th episode, and I hope with the next season we can do some things even better. And I'm really looking forward to having some other formats on here and have other amazing guests. And of course, Danny will be in there again. Self-invited himself.
Honestly, for you guys, it's just a message and I'll drop whatever I'm doing. I don't say that to other places because everyone wants me to come talk at whatever random thing they have. But for you, Mark, you're like a BFF in another country for me, dude. So whatever you need, or you, Scott, it's nothing but love. So if you ever need me for anything, don't ever hesitate.
Thank you,
Amazing, Danny. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Mark and Scott.
Yeah, thank you so much
awesome.
for coming on, James.
Thanks for coming, James.
Also, if you're not following James online, please do that. He's phenomenal. He just had a tweet
Yeah.
go viral the other day too. I mean, James is a badass. Like, check him out.
Thanks, Danny. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know yet when Whiskey Wednesday is going to come back. It could be at the end of this year. It could be at the beginning of next year, but there will definitely be a season 2. So hang in there, and I hope we will have more sponsors so we can have more giveaways, amazing ones as Cloudinary did this time, where we could, like, the price was amazing, like 6 months subscription to FrontendMasters. I'm still amazed. Danny, what are you plugging there?
That's my sponsor, Full Stack Serverless by the amazing Nader David. I see that it was mentioned in the comment section.
He's a legend.
I highly recommend.
He is a legend.
Phenomenal human being, genuinely phenomenal. He lives not too far from me, and I plan that as soon as COVID is over, to stalk him until he acknowledges that I exist in his life. So, but no, I highly recommend that book. To be honest, you know what's so weird? He has such a unique way of explaining things that I genuinely think most people, if you're not informed on the subject, you can pick it up relatively quickly.
Great. Oh, Alex Thomas says
Christmas special.
Christmas special. Oh, that's a challenge accepted, I think.
You should do a Christmas special. It can't be a live stream though, because it's gonna be so many people. But invite every single person that you ever did an interview with or a talk with, and do like a combined huge clusterfuck of a call. And just
you gotta make sure you edit this episode.
Well, they said I could curse, so I was like, okay.
You almost made it, Danny.
No,
okay.
We have swearing on there. It's fine. So
yeah,
thank you.
Okay, thanks.
The whiskey's working now, so the inhibition is gone.
Yes, I also want to thank everyone who throughout these 10 episodes was watching or listening also in the podcast.
Yeah,
really thankful for our not that many live viewers, but we still had a lot more viewers at the end than I thought we would, and I'm really happy how it's turning out, and I'm looking forward to see how this will grow with our audience.
Brilliant.
Great. So with this, I think Scott.
I'm waving.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks again, James and Danny, for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I see you around in Twitter and maybe someday in the new version of Whiskey Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, and we are out in 1, 2,